I'm Damien Fowler.
And I'm Eileen Liffering.
And welcome to this edition of the Current Podcast.
The Current is your deep dive into the future of TV, media, and data-driven marketing, all explained in plain English.
We talk to the biggest names in digital marketing.
This week, we sit down with Vivienne Long, the CMO of REI, the outdoor equipment and apparel retailer. Anyone in the US who's ever hiked or skied or gone camping has likely outfitted themselves with products from REI, which has more than 165 stores across the country.
That reminds me, I do need a new fleece hoodie. REI is a retailer with a mission. It believes that a life outdoors is a life well lived. Founded in 1938 by a group of climbing friends, the company has built a community of like-minded lovers of outdoor life through its cooperative, which has nearly 20 million lifetime members.
The company says it puts purpose before profits. It has a strong sustainability platform and embraces the concept of conscious consumerism. This year, it announced it would close its doors for good on Black Friday, and instead pay its employees to enjoy the great outdoors.
We're thrilled to be able to ask Vivienne for her insights into this unique company.
From an ROI standpoint, for sure, we believe that foregoing profits and sales at all of our locations is the right thing to do so that we can instead pay our 16,000 employees to enjoy time outside and to get outside. So we would love for all retailers to join us, for everyone, even outside of REI, whether it's our members, customers, employees, to get outside. I think it is definitely a response to consumerism, which is the best way to spend time outside on Black Friday is to be with your friends and family and to be in nature. So yes, I'm a little biased on that standpoint, but it's been wonderful because since we closed the very first year in 2015, we've seen continued interest in opt outside every year, and we've been able to invite other companies to join us, other organizations, and even thinking about what does impact look like? What does it mean to get outside even beyond Black Friday? How can we enable that year-round?
I'm also wondering if, the extent of online shopping that's spread in the last 2 or 3 years has helped nudge that as well, move that pendulum. I'm also thinking of Amazon Prime days, of course, which are a huge driver now of sales. Do you think those things have made a difference?
Yeah, I think now the idea of shopping is very much about, for convenience, you can go online. From an experiential standpoint, I think people are still looking for physical. And we certainly see that. Our stores have just continued to be a place where people want to talk to other people, to be in community with like-minded folks, to really engage with our knowledgeable green vests and spend time. And then they go online when they want to make a purchase more quickly. So it's almost there's different types of shopping experiences, and you have to meet the customer or the member with where they are, depending on how they're thinking about their shopping, what they're looking for. If it's about fast, get the product with minimum amount of time and friction, or if it's a longer, more about discovery, exploration, trying things out, talking to people.
Let's just go back to basics. What is REI and what does it stand for?
REI it's a brand that really helps people support people's lives outdoors. At one level, we are a specialty retailer, so we have wonderful gear and apparel to support all types of activities in the outdoors. But really our mission and purpose is really to support a lifelong love of the outdoors. And we really do believe that a life outdoors is a life well lived. So in many ways, many of our products and services go well past selling products and being a retailer to include rentals and classes and experiences and expertise. So if anything, my greatest desire is to help as many people, and this is true for all the employees, help people get outside. So that might start with some products and services, but it definitely is not limited to that.
That's an amazing mission. I know that the company's 84 years old. How has it stayed true to that mission that you just described, even in a digital age?
Well, in a digital age, really, it's about combining physical and digital. It's both. How best to reach our members and our customers. And if they want to be in a physical environment, we're there to support with our Green Vest, our stores, and actually community activities as well. But many of our customers and members, as you know, they go back and forth. And so digital has become a much more important part of how we interact and support our members and customers. So, for example, when during COVID, we had to close our stores down for a short period of time to ensure safety and well-being. We were able to move a lot of our programming, our community activities, our education, and even our outfitting virtually and online. So what we've come out of COVID realizing that there's really opportunity to serve more members, even if they're not near a store, to be able to do it online. So one aspect of coming out of COVID that's been really wonderful to see, which is just a huge growth in serving our members and customers from a digital standpoint.
Vivienne, you were promoted to CMO late last year after a 2-year stint as VP, all of course while managing an unexpected global shutdown. How basically have you seen your role change over this time? How has your marketing approach shifted, if at all?
Well, at one level, it changed dramatically. We were definitely, in terms of engaging our customers and members, we had to find a way to do that differently. So as I mentioned before, engaging at a physical stores has been a really big part of the brand, and providing expertise and helping our customers and members find the right products and services and places to go outside. We had to move all of that into a digital environment. So in many respects, the ways to engage and connect with our members and customers fundamentally changed. On the other hand, though, one thing hasn't changed, which is people wanted to get outdoors even more so. And so it was really about how to help people through content, through all the different ways we can help people get outside. And if anything, it was wonderful because there was so much demand for it.
And now, would you consider yourself to be an outdoors person?
It runs the gamut. So it's simple things like walking and hiking. Sometimes it's kayaking. It's all the different ways. And I think that's really important is the traditional definition in the Pacific Northwest of camping and hiking, which are very big climbing or very big activities here. I think we're just trying to support all the ways that people get outdoors. And that can be even as simple as bird watching or sitting in a park. It can be daily activities like running and cycling. So for me, it's really depends on my mood and how physically active I want to be. Every time I get outside, though, is an opportunity to really refresh emotionally and mentally.
Last year, I did some major hiking in Iceland, and of course, the REI was my obvious choice to grab some of the essential gear I needed. Like, I could not have made it too far without that thermal headgear.
When Eileen says thermal headgear, she means balaclava.
Yes, I had to look that up. Now, REI actually calls itself a co-op. How would you explain the co-op program and how it might work as a membership for customers?
Yeah, so a cooperative really focuses on cooperation and the idea of a quadruple bottom line. So the way to think about it is we're here to serve our members, and people buy a membership to participate in basically some membership benefits and really to support their lifelong love of the outdoors. As a customer, you can still shop REI, but members really provide a deeper value. From a community standpoint, it's a really big part. It's really the full definition of a cooperative is a quadruple bottom line. So we're here for employees and to support our employees, obviously customers and the business, and then most importantly, our society. So how do we help in areas of impact? The two biggest ones that REI has committed to is climate and racial equity diversity. So from a climate standpoint, we fight for the outdoors, the health of the outdoors, and preserving the outdoors. And then for racial equity diversity, we believe that outdoors should be for everyone. And that has not always been true. And it's a big area we're focused on, along with climate in the past and certainly in the future.
Now, earlier this year, you also relaunched the Lifetime membership program in an effort to expand the co-op community and connect with younger and more diverse shoppers. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the programs tied to the Reimagine membership?
So this year in March, we relaunched our membership program. We added 5 new benefits on top of the existing benefits. So in the past, our benefits have been primarily around economic value. So you get this wonderful dividend. We call it rewards. 10% of your purchases you get back. There's just wonderful sales events and products you can buy. what we really, in doing research with the future generation, so the younger, more diverse members, what they told us is they really want to be able to think differently. So some of them are more emotional value of a membership. So for example, the benefits we've added are more about providing more convenience and making it easier to access the outdoors. So one benefit is circular commerce. So the ability to participate in trading in used gear as well as buying used gear from across our network. That's a big benefit because it allows value. So you can buy really great used gear and apparel for a lower cost, and it keeps product out of the landfill. So there's a big sustainable aspect to it as well. And that's for our members and customers. They've told us that they want to live their values, that they want to do good things for not only getting outside, but to live life in a way that's consistent with their own beliefs. The second area is also representative of a benefit, which is for every member that signs up, we donate $5 toward equity for all in the outdoors, as well as combating climate change. And so in this first year, we're able to donate $7 million in total, which has pretty big impact in really enabling those two areas. And something that our prospective members have told us are really important is every dollar that they're contributing, they want to see that go back into society.
Vivienne, when you talk about your members, it seems like you've got a pretty good handle on who these people are and their values. Obviously, it's very important for you to understand that relationship. Could you explore that a little bit more? I mean, I know, for example, REI appeals to city dwellers, for example, and people who want to go out hiking. So is it a very progressive demographic that you're appealing to?
I would say for sure that the REI member and customer are more conscious of their environmental impact. They want to do good for the world. I think that's generally true for the younger audience, the younger demographic, and we certainly have people who care about that, both young and old. It is important, and I think the biggest thing that we believe is that you can still live your values and express your values, and it doesn't have to necessarily be inconsistent or opposition with having a healthy business and supporting getting good gear and apparel.
And it takes a special marketer to really lead a brand like REI. Not to brag too much, but you you have an impressive background. It's worth noting that you've had a combination of working at brands such as P&G, Microsoft, Clorox, Starbucks. What drew you to REI specifically?
I wanted to work for REI. I've been a big fan of REI. Just being in Seattle, it was a huge part of my experience in coming to the Pacific Northwest. But the biggest part is it has a quadruple bottom line. And I think it's wonderful to be able to grow the business by serving our customers and members, but then taking all of that profits and being able to support the outdoors and the areas of impact. So from my standpoint, it's a vibrant, living and breathing brand. There's so much love for it. And there's, in my mind, so much more opportunity.
You know, we were talking about people turning to nature during the pandemic. Is that still a trend that's very relevant right now? Have you seen growth, and is that growth being maintained? You know, are people still wanting to go outdoors? How have they returned to some of their indoor activities post-pandemic?
We've definitely seen more and more interest in the outdoors, and it particularly spiked dramatically during COVID and post-COVID. But we are seeing people go back to incorporating others. They haven't walked away from the outdoors. If anything, I think people realize how fundamental it is to their everyday activity. And so a lot of what we encourage folks is to think about not just getting outside for a big trip, but to think about how to incorporate the outside in every day. So you'll see we're very focused on supporting people getting outside through running and cycling because that's such an easy way, or even something as basic as walking in the neighborhood or going to your local park.
Now, REI has an impressive footprint of physical retail stores as well as its online e-commerce platform. How are you basically leveraging your retail locations across perhaps digital campaigns?
We continue to expand physical for sure. We have about a little less than 200 stores around the US. There's still many markets where we don't have retail. But even as much as we continue to open stores in new markets, it's even more important that we have digital, because what we're finding is even where there's stores, people want the convenience of being able to order online. And from a digital standpoint, there are many markets where there's not a store nearby. So it's really how we blend the two and how important both of them are. And what we find is when folks really want to look for advice and expertise and service, they can find them both, whether it's digital or physical.
So in some ways, your stores are kind of even a forum for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of a playground. We've definitely heard folks tell us they love coming into an REI store because they get to play with the products a little bit, try them out in store, and talking to lots of different folks who are passionate about the outdoors who can give them tips and suggestions is a big aspect.
And, REI's purpose over profits mentality is incredibly inspiring. You guys obviously have, as you mentioned, a lot of efforts around like sustainability. How does sustainability and other types of purpose, would you say, play into your marketing strategy overall?
Sustainability is a really key aspect to combating climate change. When I think about marketing strategy, it's really living our values and being true to that value. And so it starts from inside the organization. Before we can ask members and customers to join us, we have to be taking the right actions. So fundamentally, a marketing strategy is not something separate than how the organization functions. So for example, in sustainability and in terms of climate, we have made some significant commitments in this space before we ever start to talk about sustainability externally. So for example, 10 years ago in 2013, we made the commitment we were 100% using renewable energy. In 2020, we made the commitment to be climate neutral. So we offset all of our emissions. 2025, so in the next couple of years, we plan to be completely zero waste in terms of all of our operations. Our distribution centers and our headquarters are already at zero waste. So we're on our way there. And then in 2030, we want to reduce our emissions by 55%. All of that so that we are working toward 2050, where we want to be a net zero cooperative and hopefully the leader in the industry in terms of showing the way. So from a marketing strategy standpoint, my marketing strategy is really just being able to amplify what we're already doing as an organization. And that's been the wonderful thing about a cooperative is we live our values, and then marketing is relatively simple in the sense of all I'm doing is communicating and showing and inviting others to participate with us. And that's our customers, our members, and other organizations, either in the outdoor space or even beyond.
It does seem like it's a trend among like outdoor clothing brands in particular to adopt such values. Patagonia, I'm thinking on the North Face, they all prioritize values over corporate profits. Patagonia, for instance, recently donated all profits to combat climate change. To what, I guess, extent can progressive brands and retailers really truly make a difference? And are they perhaps filling a void where perhaps maybe government should step up?
I think there's a role for government, for citizens, and for corporations. We will need all of us pulling in the same direction and making significant commitments in order to protect the planet. It's been wonderful to work with like-minded brands to amplify the effort. And REI is not a big organization, but our hope is that we're an example to small and big organizations that it is possible.
In terms of marketing at the current time, are there any particular channels, whether CTV or social media, that are particularly effective for you to reach the demographic that we talked about earlier?
We've seen some significant growth in absolute social media. We think about influencers, affiliates, and paid as well as organic social are really important to reach our audiences. We also put a fair amount of effort in local marketing, so community-based, and we have people on the ground in several parts of the country to really build community, ways to support the community to get outside. So it's been interesting. There's more specific platforms that enable us to reach our audiences, but then we also think about physically in the physical world, how we participate in communities. So we utilize both in terms of reaching our audience.
In housing, either parts of or all advertising and media buying, for instance, has become a pretty popular topic among major brands. What steps, if any, has REI taken toward this?
We have a outside media agency we work with called Spark, and we have in-house experts as well that develop and build our capabilities from a channel standpoint. So I think it's a hybrid in that we don't fully outsource. I think we try to take advantage of both internal and external expertise and resources. And we'll continue to do that. I think we're always looking for how do we best optimize. And I think that the hybrid or combination is likely what we'll continue to do.
So now that we are in 2023, what marketing trend excites you the most and why?
The ability to understand the data of how our customers and members are engaging with us, no matter where in their customer journey and across lots of different channels, online, offline, is super exciting. And I would definitely say it's not necessarily a new trend, but there's even more opportunities to really understand that data and get the insights so we can better support our members and customers. So I think just continued trends in data while respecting privacy and understanding just how customers and members want to engage with us and what are they finding value and how does that evolve over their lifetime. As we think about really supporting people over a longer period of time, not just in a transaction, but over across a lifetime, being able to understand what's meaningful to someone who's younger, newer to the outdoors, to someone who may have been in the outdoors for a very long time. It's a wonderful gift and enables us to think about what is the next 85 years of history or future that we want to create for future generations.
That's it for The Current. Stay tuned because next time we'll have Angela Zapata, the CMO of Hyundai.
This is probably one of the most revolutionary times in the car industry. I don't know if we've seen this much innovation happening all together in a long, long time.
The Current is a production of Wonder Media Network. Our theme is by Loving Caliber. The Trade Desk team includes Cassie Crosby, Ivan Sikic, and Kat Vesey.
And remember,
we believe a healthy business allows us to actually invest in our values, and we see that our customers and members want to participate in that. They want to give back, and they give back by the brands that they choose to support.
I'm Damien.
and I'm Elise.
And we'll see you next time.